TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
Greetings. What's good in the hood, everybody? Welcome to the first trading show of the year. This is Broken Wings. Realized we had a show called Race, so we had to throw that edit on the live broadcast and change the name. So, how's everybody doing? Let's see how many people came back for the first show of the year. Definitely a light skeleton crew to finish the year last year. So, curious to see how this goes. Had only 50 of the acolytes show up about for prep for the first day of the year, and looks like some people got some good results out of prep, but it's only going to be as effective for as many people as that bother to look at it. So, definitely looking to see an increase in participation from the people who did join acolytes. There's you guys only show up for concept calls, and I try to tell people this: you can't really schedule epiphanies. You know, concept calls are going to give you a base layer of information, but it is the active repetition of speaking in the language that gets it to sink into where you can use it like slightly better than just topical understandings of concepts. So for you guys who joined that, make sure you try to be a little bit more active outside of concept calls, because there's a lot of stuff you miss from Euro's time zone trading that happens with some of the vets that are leading that. There's a lot of stuff you can learn, even if it's not just in my concept call. There's a lot of people with a lot of experience that can help you. Shorted the open pre-market. Oh, you kind of love I gave you in prep from yesterday? Very nice. So we got 91. So definitely some, I got skeleton crew vibes to start the year out, right? Market was actually surprisingly, volatile and moved a lot going into the end of the year. Today we have FOMC minutes. It's Wednesday, so that's our big catalyst for the day. We also have like job openings and some jobs data at 10 a.m. half an hour after the market opens. So you have two in session, pretty decent catalysts to pay attention to today that can do some pretty big damage if you're not aware when they show up. Shout out to Censored User, Lucci. Appreciate everybody that throws some bits to support the show. Gotta remember, right? We don't take bribes from fucking, Sam or anybody else to tell you bullshit. We do an objective analysis show, and it is, a viewer supported endeavor, unless you want things like Kobe out there taking bribes to fucking destroy you. That's only two-way stations like this work. We either run a fucking ton of advertisements that you can't watch the show, or we are viewer supported so that the show is, aligned with the viewers. Not that myself I would ever do anything different. I do this because I like solving a puzzle. I couldn't imagine taking a payment to tell you to go here against my better judgment. That just that defies any logic as an analyst to me. But again, like there's few people in the market that are actually analysts, right? What do we see here? Oh, whoops, wrong one. Only 50 likes and 96 viewers. I got trolled by definitely a former Neblin, most likely somebody from inside channels, and I always like seeing these guys show up to bitch about like the one call you miss, to cry about it and ignore all the shit you hit right. At the end of the day, if you ever met me, you're not supposed to FOMO anything I say. If you do that and cry to me, I'm gonna tell you to fucking stuff a cork in your fucking bloody pussy and fuck off. I don't give a shit. This is not fucking make your trade for you show. It never has been. So the point you cry about anything like that, you're a fucking beta bitch, and I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. You know who you are. Keep crying on my walls, and all you're gonna get is dick in your mouth. Nobody gives a shit about you crying to me. So anybody that feels like bitching about why you're fucking down, fuck you. You call every black swan of the year. You could save your life with that. And at the end of the day, I don't fucking deal in your context and resolutions, right? You make your own decisions. I don't make your trades for you. I don't know if you're trading 5 minutes or 5 fucking years. So you should never look at a station to make your trade for you. Do that, you're a fucking idiot that deserves to follow Kobe and get wrecked. This isn't that station. So that's a memo for whichever pussies keep writing these stupid messages like it means a fucking thing. And if you have to keep making accounts to keep writing those messages, and you and your crew keep talking about my fucking business, just imagine what a bunch of losers you are if you meet all the time to talk about me and no one knows you're breathing. Make sure you put that down with the other fucking intel I gave you on accuracy. You're a bitch. Stop writing me messages. I'm not your boyfriend. All right, memos on memos. So you can only submit so many likes to one video. I dig it. We appreciate everybody that does support the show, that gets what this is, that's taking some of the intel and knowledge from here and helped improve your lives with it. That's what it's definitely about. There's always gonna be some salty bitch out there that cries whatever the fuck. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, we publicly put down more accurate intel and analysis than any living or dead analyst has ever done in history, and that's a fact, and you can't lie about it. So here we are on the first of the year. I really was endeavoring to get this thing started like somehow closer to 8 o'clock, but man, you wouldn't believe those simple art pieces, like the ones that have a lot less going on. You'd be pretty sure that would be the ones that go really fast. I don't know how those last two that look like a lot less is going on them took me so much fucking longer, because I was done with my prep from 7:32, and I sat in this motherfucker and I'm like, I'm definitely getting this show off on time, and motherfucker, 8:30, and I'm like, I can't believe what it took to get that fucking foreground fucking image of myself the right fucking shade. But what a bitch. Anyways, and taking a picture inside the fucking crash cycle is definitely tougher with Director Vale on vacation. So it's a solo act today, but here we are at the same time, so I guess it's my fault. Yeah, here we learn how to think, 100%, right? This isn't fucking a retard, degen, FOMO, fucking whatever I say station. I can't stand people that cry about shit like that and expect the TV to make your trade for you. Like what I said in CNBC, you have, I have no idea from grandma to fucking like her grandson trading, which one has what time horizons to do what with. It's super responsible for someone to tell you, you should buy this, you should buy Bitcoin today, you should buy Apple today. Like that has no regard for the person viewing its risk tolerance, fucking capital allocations, lack of experience, time horizons. It's supremely irresponsible to tell people that. That's why I think it's insane. There's so many stations people tune in to get them to tell them what should I buy, and like you give the person information, and that decision is what you should buy and where you should be out and what you're gonna do and what part of your asset base that's gonna be. That's all you. You should never look to a station to tell you do X, Y, and Z. Ever, ever, ever. So what explains up with the two hands in the background? So they're both the Infinity Gauntlets, and obviously there's certain set aspects that we couldn't remove from the physical wall. So those hands do a great job of making sure the wall makes sense, and they happen to be two Infinity Gauntlets also. So it is what it is. You like this filter? This thing's cool, right? It only picks me up if I move. That's the gag of this one. Glad you dig the cycle on the show art. Yeah, you see it? Do you see the rate at which this fucking thing is blinking? So it's not blinking. This filter is causing that. You have no idea how many photos I took to get the one where you can see it. I could not time that shit to save my fucking life this morning. Timmy says, hello Kaz, you mentioned the binary fractal in the beginning of the last show, Black and White. Do you mean the fractal of Madoff and Enron and SBF? No. The fractal of Enron and Madoff and SBF are the fractals of those guys. Binary just refers to the 1 and 0 nature of the universe, and that like there is just up or down. There's not gray areas to things. There is just on or off, black or white, 1 or 0, winner or loser, and nothing in between. Anything that you believe that you see, is a problem of your own resolution. And we explain that like in a simple analogy, like if you were to think about the colors black, white, and gray, most people would think like the gray is between black and white. But the reality is, if you're looking at a computer screen, gray is really a distribution of black and white at a very focal point. It looks to be gray, but it's a problem of your own resolution that you think there's a gray area. There really isn't. There's just on or off, and the resolution of our world makes you believe otherwise. You can take that analogy over to something as simple as like if I asked you, do you want to go have a beer with me? You would say, well, there's yes, no, or maybe, But the reality is, if I dissected your maybe, it would be made of, can I afford to go have a drink? Do I have the time to have a drink? Does my girl want to fucking go out? Do I even want to hang out with him? And do I have other shit to do? Yes, yes, no, no, yes. You know what, Kaz, maybe. What you think of as gray is a problem of resolution. And the nature of things is just really on or off. But people don't realize that. And that's true in markets too. You know, what we call the binary fractal trading model. If you go on Nomics.com, you can read about it. It's basically just dealing with the rule of motion and price, you know, the on or off nature of it at all resolutions. Price only goes up or down. You thinking that things are really sideways is really, again, the same thing, right? If you zoom into what you consider a shockwave, there's raging bull and bear markets going on at various resolutions. So it's a reference to, you know, the philosophy that governs this trading model. Make sense? There's a Madoff docu coming on Netflix. Yeah, I saw that. It was announced like in December here, so it should be interesting. The timing of that coming back with Sam, you know, they were making that long before Sam exploded. So I think they probably could have made it that fast. It looks like they made it just since Sam, you know, before Sam exploded, and the timing of them kind of reliving that in this part of our cycle, when it's pretty much the same part as Madoff's time in the cycle, it's pretty epic that, you know, Netflix would just happen to put that out right here where we're really dealing with like a fractal of those things, you know, for Madoff, Enron, and Sam. So this 847, we definitely want to do some beginning of year vibes and kind of look at some things. We're looking at some sectors and stuff on the end of the last show, and showing you guys a really clever way of kind of like looking at the market like simply to kind of see where the strengths are. We want to kind of add that, I think, into the show. Now we want to have you know, as one of the things we're doing, there's obviously a base of folks that like now have a higher understanding of market dynamics than they did before, and a higher understanding of basically what, you know, you need to look at in the market to make better choices than you're going to see on a thing like CNBC or anybody else. And so as I train you guys to kind of think this way, like I have to kind of move the show to your education level so that we can make better plans from the show and cover more information here. So something we want to do is look at like our pre-market, look at like, you know, our sectors, and what's keep it focused, at least on a macro, what sectors are really to be in focus and why. And I showed you guys again how to look at like, you know, your relative strengths in the S&P in terms of sectors. And this is going to be something we add to our macro, so we can kind of look at like where the fuck are we at this point in time, you know, and what are we trying to, like, you know, keep our focus on. The best way to keep yourself from becoming tunnel visioned about Tesla in, you know, in cars and you know, semiconductor, Nvidia, is to have a macro view of everything that's moving and really a broad view of what's strong. You know, if you see Oxy's blowing away coin, you don't want anything that's correlated to coin. And, you know, it's rather, you know, a good idea to look at what might be correlated to Oxy if that's the case, if that thing's moving. And your goal is just to make money, right? Not to say I made money in Bitcoin or Tesla, just to say you made money. So a lot of people get caught up in having to make the trade in a particular asset, whether it be ETH or, you know, Tesla or Apple, and they get hung up on that. Your goal as a risk manager is to make a risk-adjusted speculation and, you know, make more than you lose over time. And what that's in, it doesn't really mean anything. It just means make money. The documentary's out today. If any of you watch it today, let us know how it is. But I'd definitely be curious to see how they tell the story of Madoff now, you know, 14 years later. There's a lot of details that are going to disappear from that documentary and, you know, what brought him to light and stuff like that. So definitely want to see the version they tell the crowd today. But Netflix documentaries have been pretty good about being, like, you know, pretty terrible at like bringing a horrible like facts to light. So we'll see what they do with this one. All right. You guys leave me any war stories to start the year? Because you've been some light ass writers right now. You guys got Chat GPT. You can have it write your war story for you. No, don't write me bullshit. Let's see. 2 days ago. Is this definitely new stuff? That's 11 days ago. This is 4 days ago. 4 days ago. So today's stuff was red event stuff. Yeah, 10 a.m. and Fed. And then tomorrow, ADP jobs report. And then Friday, non-farm. So you've got 3 decent catalysts to the end of the week, and ISM at 10 o'clock in the session. So all days for the rest of the week have pretty decent market catalysts, and, you know, two of them inside the session. So you want to pay attention to that. All right. Let's see. Who's this? F1, F5, fives. Okay. So 23 years old, and have been trading crypto since 2017. Mainly spot trading at first, only trading BTC, and then moving to altcoins soon after. Nowadays, more focused on stocks. I found this eco around a year ago because of a recommendation of some friends, and I've been watching the streams ever since. Always have been engaged in the stream chat, but never really had the ideal routine to join the Discord. Might just be bullshit now I look back. Nevertheless, always thought that I had a pretty decent amount of knowledge about markets and mainly crypto because of the many trades that went well, until I really started to dig into the content which was available on Nomics.com, such as Cash Cycles, the blog, and Money Masters. And damn, how dumb I was to assume I knew my way around markets. Turns out I don't know jack shit. I was too complacent where I was at. Fast forward a few months later, I've adopted some good habits such as journaling every thought or bias I stumble upon while trading, or reading information so that I can reflect after trade. You can see where things went wrong. Always thought of journaling as something that wasn't necessary for me, because that was for rookies who make mistakes. Joke's on me, I'm a rookie too then. Fact of the matter is, price is people and people is price, which can easily be seen when comparing human behavior to timeframes and charts such as fractal about murder rates and SPX. Mind was blown, and once you fully understand that concept, you start to evade a mindset that the market will move a certain way because you think that's the logic. Meanwhile, I understand that market doesn't have to do shit. A great example of market moving instruments, which I never used before and found in this eco, is the holy trinity: Vixie, Dixie, and Spixie. That's pretty funny. And we can't forget your favorite pronunciated tool. Dude, it's just too many goddamn letters together. USDT.D. Have been applying these tools to my trading as well, having an eye on bigger picture, what market is strongest. Don't trade weak shit. Looking back at how I used to trade, I now trade with an actual plan rather than hopping into a trade blindly. Here are some of my recent wins. This is Canopy. Did you really go for the weed stocks? Good lord, he went for the weed stocks. Good hit. 4 R's on the rotation. That's pretty cool. That's Coinbase on the short. He played that from 45 down. Very nice. Seeing my trading abilities improve really gives that kick of satisfaction. As I mentioned over and over, participation equals results. Thank you, Cash, for creating this eco and for being the teacher I did not know I needed. 1% better every day. This cool ass a war story. Appreciate the shout out, and yeah, man, I'm glad it's working for you. That's exactly what I wanted to do, is help you make better choices and have like an idea of why you're right, why you're wrong, and not just blindly make money in bull tides and have no idea how it worked out so well, and then get crushed in bear tides and have no idea what the fuck's happening there either. Like I said, I tell you guys on the channel, retail was never supposed to make money. Retail is the food of the fucking system. Where did I put that stupid thing? Let's see. If you guys didn't get it, this cloud and this piece of artwork, this is retail. And this is retail being distorted by their euphoria, which is fed by the media, the entire connected system that exacerbates the fucking highs, that fucking traps the empty space to allow for fucking a transfer of value from that population. These excesses are caused, these bubbles are caused by emotional skews of perception, and they're fueled by fucking the mainstream media that feeds you the information from the special interest that fucking wants to corner your perceptions. This whole system's designed to extract value. This is a crazy ass picture, isn't it? But this is what this was supposed to depict, right? The bubble here, the point of value in the system, is not on the same side as the empty space, which is in the skewed portions of the marketplace. Your ability to make decisions and not fucking correlate with this is fucking imperative. So most people have no idea why they're right in bull tides or why they're wrong in bear tides. They kind of just as long as everyone else is doing the same as them, they don't feel so fucking naked. But the reality is, when you wake up to it, you don't want to be part of this fucking shit show. Not unwillingly, It's kind of crazy to me. So, good shit. Appreciate that one. Those doodles, they're gonna be the hyper educational doodles that you guys don't realize how much shit is inside those doodles. Yeah, those are gonna go into a new collection I'm gonna put on Foundation soon. There's a lot going on in those things if you didn't realize it. For all you guys who skim past them because they're fucking insanely colorful and crazy looking, you really should look at those. You wouldn't believe what's in that fucking thread, I can tell you. Awesome. War Story 5, thanks for posting that. Glad I never touched weed stocks afterwards. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, as long as you can get weed delivered around New York City, that's just never gonna fly. And from what I know, all of the medical weed now is just far worse than what's on the street. You know, the quality of it's like terrible. Let's see. I got another worse story here. Oh yeah, I got two more. Earnings for the 1-3. Do we have any earnings? Nothing we give a shit about. I don't think. Nope, don't see anything we care about there. And finally, back in the winner circle. This is Tonic. Well, this is humongous. Damn Tonic. Damn Tonic. All right, Tonic. I'm gonna come back and get that one in the next one. All right, 856. That one kill me. I'll get that one in the next show. This one's huge. That one's big, so I'll save it. You guys remember I skip it, and it's really big, and time's a factor. Ready, steady, go. First Worcester of 2023. Morning, everybody. First journaling page of 2023. 2022 was full of changes, epiphanies, and discoveries that touched all fronts of my life. Learned much, curious to learn more. Thank you, Kaz and Iko, for sharing your knowledge and expertise, for your help and support, Abra. All right, what'd you get? Let's see, what is this? ETH. Wow, that's a good journal. Let's see. Post, market, call, participation, wave, logic, repetition, touch of spring and Discord. Oh yeah, that's the picture I just showed you. This is oh wait, no, that's not touch of spring. That was actually yesterday's call. Oh, that's last night. Oh, that's the abstract. Okay, that's oh, we were having a concept call like a impromptu one last night. Okay, gotcha. This is last night. Um, Entry took a bigger risk structure for two reasons. Still working on picking the best breed asset habit, liquidity issues for the size of the position. Very smart. Took the whole flag. That's definitely too tiny for probably what you wanted to do. Saw Kaz's post, touch of spring, abstract in Twitter. Closed body at 4.49 statistically based. All right, so your normal impulse that you can reach at least is 4, and you cut there, and then you pumped out the rest of 12. So cool. I can see your cut strategy. This is pretty cool. Just to show like this is as clean a take as you could get on the rotation of that flag too. So this is pretty awesome. Low resolution trade. 1 minute. You guys are crackheads. 24 markets on 1 minute. Crackhead level shit. Good stuff though. Not 858. Let me see how big Tonics is real quick. Can I read this fast? Boy, you wrote a lot. This will be somewhat of a long post. If I give you sufficient context to share my war story and questions, note I'm happy to jump on voice call. It's easier to discuss this, discuss the RE question. Okay, so that's definitely going to be big. So I'll save this to the next one, and I'll come back and get it. We could discuss the RE question. I just have to get through and have enough time to read and think about it. Very good. Definitely like seeing the positive improvements. Definitely keep sharing your war stories. You know, this has been a difficult market. I gotta say, in the 9 years I've had this room up, this was definitely the craziest market to take new people through. You know, a sustained VIX above 21 for as long as it was, and still is. It's insane. Like I have a whole crop of students who literally learned to trade in a north of 21 VIX environment. I've never had to deal with that before, where it just wouldn't give. So you're definitely dealing with a much more difficult market. There've been a lot of adjustments made to make sure retail has a harder time getting away with any money, and it's difficult in all fronts. So the fact that they're drawing liquidity out of the system, so there's less retail for you to trade against. It's more you versus institutions. Only makes it fucking harder. You have to be more selective, and less is more on a lot of fronts. You don't want to overtrade in this marketplace. Something that I can tell you, like, a few years ago, I could draw down in the first like hour or two of the day, and I could come back after lunch, and I know I'd have another move to get a chance to get my money back. That isn't true anymore. If you fucking like don't get your money in like the beginnings of the session, like if you're a day trader and you don't find yourself up in the first 2 hours, the market becomes exceedingly choppy and difficult. If not, no more real moves to the fucking final bell or final 10 minutes before you can try to get a chance to do something. It's just not like it was. There's a lot less activity throughout the day. You see the market pumping at lunchtime, where like almost like more commonly than ever before, and just moving into places retail is not. Like it's like adjusted to like fucking retail in every single place that can be fucked. So if you're trading in this environment, like the less trades you can make is the better. If you take too many trades, you're gonna find that your performance definitely goes off a cliff after a certain amount in a session, because there's really not that much liquidity to act upon for the whole session anymore. It's very limited. So, these are great scorecards for you guys to put out there. And if you look at what people are putting down, we're working on precision, how to find that exact rotation, that exact entry, and take less tries at it and get big R's out of it, and be professionals inside a marketplace designed to kill amateurs. All right, so where are we at? 901. So, all right, not to get to 920 like fucking every single time. Let me try to do something here. A little not retarded. Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. So is he on the bottom of that range? He is hanging on to the bottom of the edge of that range. But woof, what a brick that guy's had. So this is is pretty parabolic down. All of cars as a whole are weak. With that situation, you guys haven't looked at these in a while. They look pretty weak, but they're not doing anything like what fucking is happening to Tesla right now. He's had his run, and now if you could look at Tesla in terms of some of the other car guys, Ford and GM are, if respectively, having like a recovery against Tesla after the years of getting stomped into the ground. So Tesla, is repricing against other assets inside his space, but for now, it's a parabolic down move. The kind of move that if you're not short into it, you don't want to jump into something that's really hauling ass at this speed unless you're day trading and have like tight controls on it. Where he's at now, is definitely, I think, is if there's a bounce in the market, he's gonna have to stop moving the speed he's moving, and being part of the S&P, he's definitely a draw on big cap tech. Apple, having issues with China and concerns about rotating their business into India more properly. Just tech as a whole just looks like shit. And we talked about this again with the way the industrials have rotated on tech. Like the guys that look good are in places that no one wants. They're over here. Right, oil and the infrastructure guys. Caterpillars, the Deeres. These are just where the strength actually is. And then the places that Kathy Woods is still plowing, look fucking like dire straits. At the end of the day, I can tell you something that's pretty interesting that I thought about. In the 9 years of doing this, I've had 45 people write to me that they've crossed like 7 digits of net worth doing this. Never has a person wrote me that message in a bear cycle, ever. It's actually stunning because the way that we teach people to look at price, up, down is indifferent. Bull flags, bear flags are all the same, depending on perspective. And somehow in 9 years, in how many cycles we've seen in crypto and in stocks, not a single person said they bagged a monstrous short and that pushed them through the 7-digit barrier. I've never had it happen once since 2014. Don't you think that's kind of crazy, veterans who are in the chat right now? You guys know that's true too, right? And many of you have seen some of the guys that have cleared that fucking stack, and it's like it never happens in a down wave, no matter how prolonged the down wave is. It's the craziest thing in the world. Like, people refuse to play downside movement just from the way the assets are quoted. Because again, you got to remember, that's a crazy thought to think that like everyone can only look at coin as a chance to buy the fucking low. But you look at coin in terms of like the dollar bull market on fucking risk assets because of Powell. Coin was a bull market. Again, the dollar was a bull market on coin, and nobody wants to make $1 bazillion fucking buying the dollar and shorting coin. And that's a crazy thought that like literally people are so oriented to up being a good thing and so tilted that I need to buy the dip. I need to buy a low point. And it's really only about the fact that these things are quoted to you in a way that makes you think that that's the low point. The psychology of markets is really crazy when you really get into it. So I find that to be a nuts thing. Anyways, let's do SPY versus SPY times 10. So I don't have any drawings on it. I have drawings on SPY times 10. What the fuck? Well, whatever. I don't have that many drawings on it. So SPY times 10. So we get the drawings off, and then we're gonna look at where shit is. So let's see, coming into the year, where did my cursor go? Do that so you stop being crazy. Turn this shit off. And what do we have, right? I mean, look at the market right now. again, we said like the parts of the market that we want to see strong, and we're looking at like here on lower resolutions. That's coming into the year. What we're doing, right? Gold has really been the standout commodity, and not a lot of people have been paying attention to that. But when gold is technically really strong and risk assets are struggling, that's just broadly a risk-off sentiment, right? Gold is really not the asset you go to for like outsized performance. It's a place that's a safe haven. And one of the things that contributes to that is the fact that like when you short gold, right, you pay a rollover fee. Sorry, you long gold, you pay a rollover fee to hold it. But when you short gold, you can actually receive credit in certain places to hold gold short. So gold pays you for literally, for taking in part of like effectively storage, right? Gold has a storage cost to it. When you buy real estate pays you for holding real estate. It pays you rent. And so when you think about it, how are the ways that I can get paid, in gold? I can get paid short gold, and I can get paid long real estate. And so in that, like, that's what gold functions as a risk-off asset. I can receive a premium for holding it short, and I can receive a premium for holding stocks in the form of dividends long. And so when you go long, when you go short gold and long stocks, that's risk on. You're getting paid a premium for being short gold and putting it against something with a greater forward potential of return that also pays you for the utility of it. That's that when that trade flips over and gold is the guy that's fucking strong, that's a very, very bad sign when you understand the mechanics behind, risk assets versus gold. So this is something we don't really want to see with Tesla going off a bridge. That's one of the reasons Tesla's going off a bridge. Assets like Tesla are dying, and money is being parked in places that are considered safer than fucking risk assets while Powell's doing what he's doing to the marketplace. So back here, not really something we want to see right now. Discretionary, where Tesla is the shittiest thing in the marketplace. Energy is not so great. Oil has been pretty weak. You had an exceptionally warm winter, which is the exact opposite of what Putin probably needed. We talked about that before, and it's exceedingly warm, which is good for Europeans that are, would be faced with like a real serious crunch to heating costs and stuff had it worked out the way that Putin would have liked. So right now, while bonds, utilities, and gold are strong, it kind of looks like you should still have some caution to what the market is doing at this moment. If anything's looking kind of strong, some communication stocks have kind of popped out, and it may be a sign that tech, some parts of tech might be in an early stage to recover a little bit from the deep sell-off. But until further notice, right, you keep a cautious eye on risk assets while things are like this coming into the year. All right, so back to I don't want to mindfuck anybody with this because I know the more things are on the chart, the more mindfuck people get. So let's not confuse the shit out of anybody. So spies, what we're watching again, we're watching this potential bear flag, the dark blue wave we drew here. Watch this angle. He violated the angle, but without much upside rotation. He's still in this congestion. We have this little gap level over here, if you remember. This level is running all the way back to this low over here, and it's been a good interactive level. So we pay attention to stuff like that, and he's churning against it right now. So if he turns and rolls off of this, we do want to pay attention. We have to evolve our trend line out to the next high that generates the next low. But for now, until he does it right, that's what we're dealing with. Let me see. This is not our gap chart. The chart with the gaps on it is this guy. There you go. So this guy's all of our gaps broken up on the way down that we used as good levels. And so just that purple level you saw there is a good high point on top of this thing. But I like to pay attention to these gaps with really good interactions all the way down. And so you're kind of sitting on this level and chopping that. So that's definitely no bueno. But I would monitor that guy like the bear flag. All right, so still following this trend structure down, and unless he proves a higher floor somewhere in here, so you can go like that, right? We don't really give a shit on the higher resolutions right now with what he's doing. So that's him. The Qs, which are the weaker side of this, we want to pay attention to. This is on the wrong chart for him. This is over here. Qs gave you guys a good level here, this blue level to pay attention to that he rotates on the angle, and he's been sitting there congesting there also. So his version of what's in the NAS is following that trajectory right there. So this purple and blue level are good thresholds to watch if he recovers this low or if he goes down through this low. It's kind of like zooming out, you can see that you're kind of like in still a decision point right now for risk assets here. Diamonds, which we know, we said, Dow is stronger than Q's. He's outsized his structure. His version of things is still this. So you have a differential, between risk assets and industrial assets. Can this guy totally peel down and go back in here? That's definitely possible. But for right now, right, as long as we see this situation, we're gonna look, at likely that the downside market, will likely be led by tech and assets similar to tech, like crypto, and your upside strength will likely be led by industrial assets. So we look at things like Schwab and financials and industrials, and these guys have like really good relative strength right now, while you're seeing just tech look like just abysmal. So the market's kind of, you got a serious bifurcation you have to pay attention to. It's definitely not an easy market when you have like it looks like Armageddon in tech, and it looks like roses are blooming over in industrials. This requires a little bit greater dexterity than the average retail trader generally has, and that's kind of why we're teaching you guys to look at things in terms of like in terms of assets, to kind of get this kind of mental dexterity that's not really taught on retail shows. They always teach you to look at dollar-centric, markets, and people don't understand looking at like what funds look at, which is relativistic value, asset versus asset, which is far more comparable. Just like you guys do in crypto. You guys look at LTC, BTC because you can compare crypto versus a crypto. It's not always about crypto versus a dollar. Sometimes you can make better sense out of, ETH versus fucking Atom, or fucking like, LTC versus BTC, or Doge versus fucking like, Sheep. That only makes more sense than to compare it to like a fiat ledger from God knows what fucking superpower around the world, right? So we look at something like Schwab and financials versus coin, and we look at like Kathy on the wrong side of this. You have a real idea of like how split the market really is. There are bull markets always somewhere, and sometimes they're not just in a dollar denominated asset. They could be in terms of assets. So this is important. If you know how to look at ratios in crypto, then it makes sense what we're doing right here, right? All right, so that being said, USDT.D. Geez, I really can't say that right. So paying attention to this, thrifty nigga Enix level, still holding the whole situation up right here. So right now we're watching this. Like I said, we don't want to see him bounce and pump through this. This would be bad. So now your flag that you have above this level is still here, and you're still within this chop zone. So it's just kind of an expansion of this. You're still kind of waiting for clarity of where this is really going. We never pull up total that much anymore. I think we get most of our inferences off the other guys. So total has kind of just been languishing out here. Let's move this out for the sake of it. And that's the same thing we see in the shape of ETH. If there's going to be a rotation, it'll come from something like this, but we follow the trend. If he keeps going lower, so be it. ETH, we look at him, and so I drawn this structure for you like a while ago on ETH, right? And we had like this uptrend angle here. He could rotate through the angle. We watch for him to get like underneath here. This zone, the Trolex shockwave zone, this is the zone where if he flags in here, that's like death. So we drew these like, potential paths, and think that, he had the structure of like what looked like a bull flag. I don't know why that moved, but this was like that, to actually pull off a rotation out of this guy. But you're going to be watching him to like get through like some key levels, like 1423, just like the summer. That was like your big pump level from here to 2000, and that's a good swing level to pay attention to if he gets out of all of this shit. That was an expanding range back here that we drew out this purple box range for. You pretty much don't want to fuck around in here. You want to see him get through this, and now he's got a pretty clean angle to watch to get up here. If he does keep rotating, then this would be where you care about next. But all of you that are playing 1 minute charts inside this insanely tight area, just be really careful. He hasn't really done shit, in months. He's technically in the same place as he was in fucking September. So you're kind of letting this mature and see if he does turn into a bull flag, and this is a bottom formation. Crypto has had a lot better relative strength than a lot of stocks, but if there's a broad de-risking in the market, it'll take everything with it. So just be aware of that. So that's BTC. BTC's not doing shit. He's pretty flat. Nothing's evolved much there. And then LTC, BTC. Still watching this guy. Alright, still watching this dude here. And like I said, this is the one thing that's like, was interesting to see, that LTC had this movement happening Generally, he's going to tell you that there's speculation in like second tier risk assets in crypto over Bitcoin for that to even be a thing to be possible. And so this is one thing that shows you this relative strength in crypto land is that this is even happening because this guy's garbage. But this is an insane technical level we told you to pay attention to because this is like his historic low, like, going back fucking to the whole of the time I've been in crypto. So you want to watch that. And right now, this is indicative of internal strength in crypto. Even if there is to be a broad de-risking, this is why you're seeing like when there's any bounceability, crypto shows some strength. There is some risk-seeking behavior here, but until this guy gets through like this level, I don't think I think this is a blip on the radar. Before you can expect something like that, I think through this level is before you mostly care about it. But this is kind of a state of execution. If this turns into a bear flag, and he rotates this angle down, right, crypto is going to be de-risking, and BTC dominance is going to be where you need to watch. If you're de-risking, let's see, that's the wrong chart for BTCD. BTC.D. Right, that little dump you see right there, that's LTC, BTC being able to have any kind of upside at all. Most of crypto is not strong, but if this guy gets strength to the downside, this is also a big signal. Like crypto is de-risking and BTC becomes safe haven again. This is a line in the sand that you want to keep on your radar along with USDT.D. This threshold gets breached, it'll probably be a bad thing going on, and the LTC BTC pump will likely stall out. All right, I think that covers everything. DXY things, currency things still. Dixie. So we're still watching this dude and what he's doing, and I don't think he's escaped this box yet. So he kind of went down to the very base of it, and he's recoiled, and he's still in the same range. So still waiting to see what this guy does. Still waiting to see for him. VIX is attempting to rotate this bull flag on the monolith kill level. So today going to session, I would very much keep this guy on your radar. As you see, he's got good interaction on the 23, this is 2269, and there's a 2315 level. It's not on this chart. I think it's on this chart. Yeah, there's 2355. He's flagging between that and monolith kill. If he breaks through this, the market's likely getting a pretty decent de-risk. So this is definitely critical as we bounce off 21. Pay attention to this. You want to see this fade if the market's going to sustain any kind of real bounce at all going into this week. Again, you have Fed numbers, so you guys have to pay attention to that. The Fed is going to drop numbers at 2 p.m. and the whole whatever the session looks like can turn into fucking rubbish at that point. So, Darth Maul warning things. Make sure you guys pay attention to that. If you get Darth Maul, let it settle out, then wait for it to pick a direction and then make a play on that. But don't be in front of the fucking cannon at 2 p.m. I think that's about it. It is 9:19, so I pulled off 1 minute ahead of my fucking idea. Coinbase got $100 million fine in New York regulators. Didn't know about that. Also interesting to note. LTC has been good recently for comparisons. Most definite. Apple and Tesla getting smoked like some purple OG. Is lesser liquidity the big reason why the VIX seems so suppressed? No, I think the VIX is honestly like, it's sitting at a new normal. Like that risk-seeking behavior like is happening 21 to 25 instead of like south of 21. Like the world is getting used to being on edge, That's something we talked about like years ago, that the VIX could just stay at a new normal as the world went into new levels of crazy, and that the news flow, we talked about 2 years ago, the news flow would be crazier and crazier and crazier. You'd be like, what? I hope things go back to normal. And no, the news flow like normally now is fucking insane all the fucking time, and likely going to get crazier, as you go forward. So Joshua said that just happened. All right, cool. So anyway, it's 9:20. The goal was to get you out before 9:20. So my bad. I can't do any symbols today. Hopefully, just kind of want to have a broad speak with you guys, look at some sector stuff, and get like a broad view of like what we're going into the year with. So pay attention to the VIX today. Pay attention to the announcement at 2 o'clock. You have a 10 o'clock jobs announcement also in the morning. So you're gonna get 2 different fucking spikes possible. If you're day trading into this, so it's not an easy day. So be careful 30 minutes in. Keep your heads up for that first fucking red number, and then at 2 o'clock, definitely the first review of Fed minutes for the year is probably going to set a tone for where we go from here. So, all right, y'all, that was a lot of words. See if you can process it. 10 minutes. Get your mind down from this. Get your game plan on, and good luck today. I'll catch you guys on the flip. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome